Good morning to everybody, colleagues, sisters. Good morning. Sisters, in order to start with our session, let's remember that there's a group that is on charge of the spiritual session to see if we can do the invocation, the connection, which is really necessary to have for us. So our class we can have a really good class with the help of our creator. With the help of this ceremony, it is going to help us cheer up our spirit, our minds, our connection with our territory, the connection with our spirituality, and how we are going to as well to link and or to get together in as sisters in this matter of the search of the well-being, the pursuit of well-being, spiritual well-being, physical territory that we wish. So in order to give the chance to the Latin American colleagues, we're going to handing the mic. We're leaving the space. Thank you. I understand that it is not for us to do that this session. I believe according to the schedule, Asia is on charge. We are on charge on Tuesday, 27. I will ask the colleague Lillian. So who's in charge for today's invocation? Let's see. Let me see. Let me just a minute. Let me see. Let me check the schedule. Today is on charge. Today is 20. Yeah, Asia. I'm sorry. Apologies. Asia. Okay, I apologize. Our partner from Latin America. I apologize. Go ahead, Asia, please. Asia, who's on charge for this session for the invocation, please? Who's on charge from Asia? So we are asking to be attentive on the calendar, on the schedule, because this schedule was handed in a week ago. So we can start right away with the invocation or with the spiritual session. So let's listen to teacher Rufina, and also she's going to lead us with an invocation. Go ahead, teacher. Once again, Good morning, good afternoon, good night, colleagues, sisters. We're going to start with the spiritual invocation, yes? I'm going to share with you how us, the indigenous woman from the Witoto people that we speak Nepote, we connect with our principle of life, with our territory, with the word of origin. So in that sense, we are going to feel that we are together, hand to hand, grabbing our hands, because the hands are the first, uh, is the first, the tumor that is on the, that it has the shape of a cup. We call it totuma. Yes, there we take with our hands, we work with our hands, we take care, we with our hands we collect, and we gather every positive thing that is going to come to our body, that is going to come to our heart, that is going to come to our mind. Yes, this is the fabric of life, and the biggest strength has this um, finger, which symbolizes the feminism or feminine, because this allows us to hold that vibration. These fingers are going to give us strength, guided by the Creator Father. And all of us, grabbed hand to hand, we're going to work today and every day that follows after this day, because we're going to work about the word of life, the breath of life, the spirit that gives life, because it's not my word, it's the word that the Creator left us. It's the word that gives origin to that spirit. Everything that is around us, it has life, and it's the spirit that is going to guide us, and it's going to give us strength in our moments of pain, distress, in the moments that sometimes we want to let go of the things. But she's going to be our strength, because the word come to conceive, the word came to multiply, the word came for us to live as human, as peoples, recognizing that we recognize in each other. So that's the invitation that the Father, the Creators, that guides us in today's session. Whatever we're going to do today in today's session, that essence of life, that light, let it be the light in our walk. That is my words for the invocation to commence the session. Thank you, partners or colleagues. Okay, well, now today, our work, yes, I don't know if you can project the slides. I am the facilitator. The I facilitate the intercultural research. You please go to the next slide. Today's topic is the intercultural research from our own cosmovision. In this topic, we're going to focus a lot the rich that we have, the indigenous people, the rich of the research that we could have. It's really interesting because we're going to find ourselves a lot what the research, because the research is in every moment since we are born, and also in our daily living, and in everything we do, we're asking ourselves, what did I sleep, what did I dream last night, what does it mean, what does my dream mean? So in a daily basis, we're asking ourselves about our life. So it's going to be nourishing for us, like it's going to be something about sharing, strengthening between sisters of Asia, sisters from Africa, among the sisters of Latin America. So we're going to follow us. We're going to keep walking this word, living this word about what is research, our research. What is research, or the research for us as indigenous peoples? And what is the research from the Western approach, and how these two cultures can come together in order to improve or give tools in order to continue with the process of reclaiming our rights. Next slide, please. So preliminary motivation, we will have some questions. We'll have some reflection activity. It's going to be based on basic knowledge and previous knowledge that the students or participant have about what led us to start the origin or work with the origin, and how we're going to see the intercultural methodologies. They are or methodologies that comes from our from the peoples, from the indigenous worldview. And also we have methodologies that come like traditional methodologies, like methodologies that as exist from that point of view of the brother. So next, afterwards, we're going to have an activity, in a group activity, where we're going to get together, or they're going to be integrated sisters from different countries, because what we're looking for is to enrich this work. We want to enrich the point of view that the participants have, the participants of Diploma have, to exchange our knowledge in order to enrich and to construct or to conduct the research for a transformation. And next we will have a theoretical contextualization. It's going to be an interview. We're going to watch an interview to a leader from Colombia that has a really big experience, how she's working with this intercultural methodology in her in the creation of an indigenous university. And then we will continue with personal action, collective action, and to deepen the knowledge, where I will be sharing some point of view, let's say some feedback point of view. So I'm going to do and give a concept from our own point of view.
The ethics that we must have in research, the ethics we must keep during the whole process of the research project. So that's what it's going to be about. Then we are going to do feedback, a rhetorical feedback, and we're going to have a group participation. Let's continue. So the objective of learning is to promote I'm sorry, I'm looking for my, here we go. To promote the collective construction and recovery of research methodologies based on the worldview and principle of well-being in the historical current life systems of the indigenous women and peoples of Abya Africa, Asia, along with other knowledge in favor of the great web of life. So that's our objective for today. We're going to go into it. We only have 10 minutes to get started for this activity. I always like to start with our previous knowledge, taking into account that all of us are born with a knowledge, particularly if we are leaders. We have bases that are there, the minimum that we know about, or a lot that we know of our culture, of the origin of life, of my people, of my territory. So here is where we're going to share initially what led to the origin of the intercultural research. It's important to look at here that the indigenous peoples, we talk about an own research before reaching intercultural concepts. The indigenous peoples, we have ways to do research, our own research, as I said before. And one of these ways, one of these tools that we want to is that we're always asking, why does it rain? Why does it thunder? Why is there lightning when there's sun and it's raining? We are looking for these answers. Why does why do certain phenomena exist, like in the environment, that affect our territories, that bring illness to people? We're always asking and looking at what's happening around us. As in women that we are, we grow life, we grow food. We are also asking what happened in my pregnancy. Why did I lose my baby? What was it that I didn't eat properly? When I'm growing food, why didn't the seed give into the plant? So I'm always wondering, I'm always looking at the origin of why a certain situation isn't happening, or things that I can resolve, right? So it's really important that here you're going to respond these two questions. You can answer this as in the previous session, as Liliana was saying. You can answer this with a PowerPoint. You can do in a Padlet program, whatever's easier for you. The idea is that you can share, and you can look at the tools and use the digital tools that we can then go into and see it again. So here's the two questions. They're very simple. They say, what led to the origin of intercultural research and methodologies? What are the people's or communities' own forms or ways of research or knowledge exchange? That's the second one. And then we have a third one. What research processes have been developed within your people or community? Right? So here I'm focusing very much in the community, in your town, but let's understand that the community, it is sitting in a territory. It is based in a territory. So it is important to talk about whether there is a community or wherever you're situated. This is a territory that is owned by the community, or because of circumstances, I don't know, violence or any other circumstance, people had to move to a different territory and it's not owned. So we could also learn about what's happening through these answers, and the feeling of being in a place that is not owned, but how you've taken this territory and turned it into your own. So here's the answers. You're going to answer these individually. We have 10 minutes to share. And then the idea is that when we end, and next slide, please. So when we end, you answer these questions, and we're going to look at the answers that each one of you has shared. But here it is very important when we talk about research and the intercultural research, it is very important to value, to highlight, to recognize the point of view of the other. This is what enriches interculturalness. Recognizing the other, respect the other, understand the other. And here we're going to emphasize that each community has their own way of sharing knowledge. And we can look at child rearing, the specific territories that we have. And we're going to go deeper in this as we walk in through this work. Do you have any questions? Was I clear? I'd like you to tell me if, because this is a joint work among all of us. So in the reflection, I'm going to read the slide. It says reflection on the responses shared by the classmates on Padlet, highlighting the importance of the point of view, emphasizing how each people has its own dynamic for transmitting knowledge, which serves as the first form of research. Child rearing, cultural specific spaces play a key role in deepening the knowledge unique to each one. So when we're done with this, now we're going to get organized. I call it that we're going to have people from all the different parts of the different regions. So we're going to look at, it's going to be a random group of the participants, and we're going to look at what is the role of the Indigenous women in relation to the care of their bodies and territory. So we're going to address the intercultural approaches, ethical principles, research characteristics, methodologies. But we're going to go back to the slide and we're going to explain it before the next activity. So let's go back to the first questions. So this is going to be individual questions that each of you is going to answer. And the idea is that we go into it, that we can work with it from the point of view of being women as a territory, from our previous knowledge to what we're going to work with. Any questions? Any questions? Any comments? I'm here for you with great pleasure. If there's no questions, my sisters, let's go into the answers of each of the questions. You can go to the Padlet or PowerPoint or whatever you want to use for these to answer these questions, for these guiding questions. Is everything clear?
Yes, teacher.
I will be paying attention for any questions you have or any comments or anything you need.
Hello, okay, good morning. How are you? Sisters, to remind you that you got left only 5 minutes. Remember, sisters, that any doubt, any question, I am here for you with all my heart. I'll accompany you. I'll help you out with whatever question you have. I'm here to guide you with the activities that you're right now working on. Ready, colleagues? Are you ready, colleagues? Or you need at least 2 more minutes? Okay, are you ready, colleagues, partners? Perfect. Let's ask the favor to the team that helps us really valuable his support. The communication team, please project for us the answers that the colleagues have written down. So that way we can socialize it, we can share it. Teacher, we can't hear. I think your mic is muted. I'm sorry. I apologize, Liliana. Thank you very much, Liliana. So the first answer we have is what led to the research was the few participation of the woman in the spaces, in the political spaces and organizational spaces. The post were the post that we were placed on, it were in the lower place. The second, the the own ways of research is through our own knowledge and ancestral knowledge. Our elders are intellectual, but they write little few. And the third answer is the women from the indigenous people have conducted researchers, and they have followed up the peace treaty, specifically the ethnical treaty, which is called the path of peace. If we could go to a next answer that another sister has provided us, that would be good. So we got the participation. Mine, I uploaded onto the chat as a PowerPoint presentation slide. We're going to ask the IT team to help us out with this, to project the answer that's in the chat. Whoever is projecting, if you please could stop projecting so the IT team could project the next one. answer to the first question. What led to the origin of intercultural research and methodologies? All researches are based in researches from a real place, because they say that the knowledge of the indigenous people, that since they are not scientifically tested, and it's not good for this kind of researches. So with this research, we're going to prove wrong, because we have lived and worked in over all the time. We have done researches, but our ancestral practice has been denied. The second question: what are your people's or own communities' own forms of research or knowledge exchange? The ways of research or knowledge is through practice, because there's no writing for the community, and everything is by speaking and also hearing, like the spiritual healing, like the medicine of our own peoples, and is identifying ourselves and observing. And that's the next one. What research process have been developed within your people or community? I haven't heard any research process in my community. Only the students for the conducting of entitlement research. Okay, very good. So we have 2 points of view. So we're still pending the point of view of the rest of our partners or colleagues. Communication, would you please project the link of PowerPoint? There are the answers of our colleagues, of our Asia colleagues. If you could help us to do the interpretation of the text. Ok, la respuesta, ¿verdad? La que está en el texto. Está un poco pequeña, pero vamos a ver. Ok, ahí dice entonces la pregunta, ¿qué conllevó a que se originara la investigación y metodologías interculturales? Entonces dice la respuesta, las investigaciones interculturales comenzó como una forma de respeto inclusividad de diversas culturas, inclusividad de las perspectivas.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to socialize the points of view of our different colleagues that shared with us in this space. Look at how enriching it is to have these point of view. The first two answers, I understand, are from Latin America, I believe. Now, let's socialize a little bit. Let's talk together to continue advancing for the activity we have. For the first question, we can see, hello? Am I speaking too fast? No, we can hear you. Everything is correct, teacher. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to socialize quickly this activity we had. The first question, what we're looking at is what women have been always asking for, Indigenous women, for their rights to reivindicating their rights, the lack of participation, the non-inclusion in processes that happen in our territories. And what we're looking for is a real participation, an effective participation that can guarantee our rights, both individually, our collective rights, as well as our territorial rights. So maybe that could be the summary of the first question. The second question, all of us agree that the research from the indigenous people gets transmitted, this knowledge, this wisdom, this cosmovision, these ways of life are transmitted orally. Because it's true, as one of the sisters says, this knowledge has been transmitted down from generation to generation. And it is through observation, in conversing, in what we work with every day, our everyday activities. Everything we do is being put into practice. Our ways of research, we do not do research as the other point of view does. They sit down, they ask, using some interviews, some research tools. We are asking, but we do as we ask. There's a lot of observation. We're not using fact sheets. This is what we do more than ask. We observe. We listen. Because sometimes we end up being like using the other's practice, the other being like an object of a research object. Here we are, active research subjects. So we're looking at the behaviors of everything around us, of nature, of humans, the changes in the dynamics in the culture, in the social behaviors, political behaviors, in the territories. So it's very important, as the sister from the Bahul people I find it very beautiful how she says it, that even if it's not written down, the tradition, the oral tradition, which is essential for the peoples. So it is important to write some things down. We want to make our problems visible. We want to take back some of the elements of our culture and preserve them. But one of the things that you said first was there's the lack of participation, not being included in these processes in the community, not having a direct voice. But here we can rescue the topic that there is a challenge to be able to have to to create these tools, documents that can show the situations that we're living in our communities, in our territories, the conditions in which we are. And so this is very interesting. And then lastly, the last question. Many projects have been done in our territories, many research projects, but from the point of view of the other. Very few have been works as from within. Very few have been done from within. But in the case of the colleague that is talking about the work of the follow-up of the peace treaty, this is very important to look at these treaties that were set in Colombia to end the conflict, but there have been no continuity. It has not been really effective in the indigenous peoples. So this is something very interesting in the research, to be able to look at the different point of view and where we are at to transform. All research, sisters, must take us to transformation, to building new concepts, to transform whatever is static in this world of research. So as we end this activity, her microphone was closed. Thank you. We're going to go into the group activity. The group activity. Please, can you show my slide so I can explain? The other activity that we have, please. Can you please show me? Okay. Here we're going to have 3 groups. The idea is, as I said previously in the beginning, is to enrich this work. So we're going to have 3 groups that are made of different colleagues from Asia, African, Abi Ayala. Here what we're looking is to create a map, a body map. You can show this feeling, this thought, way of thinking, these feelings, the problems, how they've been resolved, regarding research, what researches have been hurtful or have done some hurtful actions, and what have been successful. So you could tell us through this map, this body map, because here what we do is everything that is in our body is also the territory, in the territory. everything we have in our body is also the territory. So how is this relation that what happens in the territory affects us? What happens to us affects the territory, affects our spirituality, and affects our well living. So that's the objective for this activity. Once we're finished with this, we have 15 minutes to do the group work. We're going to respect time to have the 15 minutes for the explanation. So once you're done with this group, each group will choose a leader that's going to share the work that was done in the group. And once we're done with this, we're going to then all do a plenary session together. Did you understand, sisters? The groups are from the different peoples, but we're already integrated. We're going to create groups again. Previously, we had been working by region: Africa, Asia, Latin America. You remember? Those were the 3 groups. Here, the idea is that we are going to exchange the knowledge. So we're going to have people from Asia in our team. We are going to have people from Africa. So we're going to have people from the different regions in each one of the groups. And then randomly, we can look at this interculturalness among us. So we would ask you to do a PowerPoint and upload it or use Padlet or different tools, whatever you want, so we can see what you're going to present. And then you're going to have a link where it's going to appear in the chat, so you can upload your work. So you can have your group process uploaded there. Please, the technicians, can you help us create the groups? Yes, they're in the making. Teacher Rufina, this is your group. Would you like to move into another one? This is the group that's going to stay here. So if you want to go into other groups, please let me know. The idea is that it's random. Yes, the majority stays in the main room. Yes, please go ahead. The group is ready. Three groups. And then the other 2, we only have 1 person from the different continent. Here in the main room, we have the majority because we still have the interpretation channel. So let's start going. I gave you the instructions. As I said before, the groups are already made, and let's get started to create a group discussion around this question. So as I said, the work is going to be done in this body map, where we're going to put our experiences of each one of the ones here, of everyone part of the team, each one of the team, each one here, and how the relation with spirituality and territory can be put here. And we're also going to take into account, we're going to answer, what is the role of the Indigenous woman in relation to the care of her body and the territory? That's the main question. What is the role of the Indigenous woman in relation to the care of her body and the territory? So here we are as a group. Now we're going to create this map, this body map. We're going to share our experiences. And once we're done, we're going to name a leader, someone who's going to share. It's going to, that person's going to socialize amongst the bigger group what we've done. So this, you're gonna share this in the digital tools we have. Okay, so in this map, we have to share the bad things that have, the things that have been affected badly, the things that have been good for each one of you. So to start now, please. I'll be here if you have any questions. We have 15 minutes. And then we have 15 minutes for the general sharing and socialization. Okay, the idea is so that the leader takes this information and starts drawing, taking this information into the feelings, the care, the things that have affected the emotions, is going to create the body map. So if people can start sharing your thoughts, your reflections on this, please. But what we're looking for is the interaction amongst each other, so we can see the different points of view. And as we are Indigenous, we can also see the thinking, the feeling of the other territories, the other women amongst us. And this is a challenge for intercultural within the framework of multicultural. Uh, so I'm wondering if there's no commitment to do this work. I'm worried because these are the tools that I have for my research. My question is, are you doing this work as a group? Hello, is anybody there? Does anybody have a question, an answer? We only have 15 minutes for this. Natosim, are you trying to speak? We can't really hear you very clearly. Are you having difficulties? In the main rooms, are we having difficulties in the smaller room, in the other groups? No, they are working in the other groups. Do we have interpretation in each of the rooms? I just explained that we have interpretation in each group so that the dialogue can happen. So we are hoping that people here can discuss these questions This is the group. The group is this room. So we have 5 more minutes so we can discuss here in this group. This is the group. So that you can share with us. So a assigned leader can share the discussion done here. So could you could the communication, could I please be put into room 3? Hay una señora manejando. Uy. Group 1? Hello? Hello, hello. Hello? Can you hear me? I'm a little lost. Hello, hello. We hear you, you're lost. Let's see. Who's interpreting? Yeah, can you help me, please?
¿Sí? ¿En qué
Yes.
actividad están? ¿Qué están haciendo ahorita? A ver, ¿quién está aquí? ¿Quién está aquí? Ok, ayúdame, Lidia, por favor, a ayudar aquí con el grupo. Ustedes tienen el
You
enlace,
have the link.
tienen el enlace del equipo 1. Este es en el segundo enlace. No sé si ya les dijeron lo que tienen que hacer.
The second link. Have you been told what you are supposed to do?
Ujú. En ese enlace se va a abrir
Through this
una
link, you're
pantalla de
going to
PowerPoint
open a PowerPoint,
y allí están las preguntas.
and there are the questions.
Ajá. Entonces, la idea es discutir,
So
intercambiar,
the idea is that you can
analizar,
discuss, you can exchange point of view, you can
hacer
analyze
este cuerpo.
to make this body.
Ajá. Y entonces allí dibujar como estas experiencias, dibujar el cuidado, cómo se han sentido, dónde
How you
expresarlo en el
felt. You
cuerpo.
can talk about the taking care of the body, of the community.
Ajá. Entonces, la idea es
So the
intentar
idea is that you
es
can
mostrar cómo se ha cuidado el
you can
cuerpo y el
show how
territorio.
the body and the territory have been cared for
Ajá, entre ustedes dialoguen, por eso está
among
Lidia,
yourself, so you can dialogue.
para que
We
puedan
have
traducir.
interpretation,
Y ahí están las
and
instrucciones.
here's the instructions.
Ujú, por favor. Entonces, ¿hay alguna? ¿Me quedo aquí un ratito, por favor, para que lo puedan ir viendo? Acabo de abrir el link y no veo. A ver, permíteme. Ustedes son del equipo 1. No veo a nadie que esté
You
en
are
el link.
team 1. I don't see anyone.
Entonces, a lo mejor están teniendo problema para entrar.
Maybe you're having problems to go in.
Susana, Marta, Susana, ¿tienes acceso? ¿Estamos aquí? Marta. Natosim dice que estaba perdida, no sé si ya más o menos. Aquí está el link, no sé si no sé cómo se llama, pero está en el chat el link. Aquí lo vuelvo a poner. Ay, perdón.
This is the
Lo-
link. Team 1 link.
Lo había puesto ahí, ahí está otra vez.
Here we go. So please go into this link.
Ujú. ¿Pueden checarlo, por favor?
Can you please check it out?
¿Tienen alguna duda?
Do you have any questions?
Es que no sé si estamos aquí, no sé si
I
Marta
don't
está
know if
aquí, si Grace
Martha's
está
here,
aquí,
is
ni
Grace
Marta está
here,
aquí,
is everybody,
Halima,
Halima, are you here?
Mónico, estabas en el otro equipo,
Yes,
¿cierto?
I'm here.
Ok. Entonces, la idea es igual, hacer
The
una
idea
imagen de un
is to
cuerpo
create a image of a body,
y allí poner como
and then there you can
las,
write
las emociones, los
the emotions, the
sentimientos
feelings,
y las afectaciones,
and what's been affected
que esto tiene con la
that
espiritualidad y el
these
territorio.
have regarding spirituality and territory.
Ok, creo que ya tengo allí varios.
Okay, here we go. I think we have some
Ahí están las
of you there.
instrucciones, pero por
There's the
favor,
instructions, but please,
necesito que
we need
dialoguen.
that you converse about
Ujú.
this topic and this question.
A ver,
Let's
¿quién
see.
puede hacer el cuerpo, el dibujo
Who
del
could
cuerpo?
make the body? The drawing of the body.
Tiene que ser una construcción colectiva.
This has to be a collective dialogue, a joint effort.
Entonces, por ejemplo,
Okay, so for
yo
example,
voy a pedirle
I'm going to
quizás
ask
a Halima.
maybe
Halima,
Halima.
¿nos puedes ayudar a
Halima, could you help
leer?
us?
¿Quién es monitor?
Who is monitor?
¿Me ayudan, por favor?
Can you help me, please?
Mm, Hola, monitor.
Hello, monitor?
Ok. Entonces, por favor, Omidico, ¿nos escuchas acá? Tú estabas acá, estabas en el otro equipo.
Omidiko, were you in this group or another or the other group?
Creo que estaba en otro grupo ya, pero bueno,
Were you in another
también
group?
veo aquí
Okay,
a
here I see
Grace.
Grace.
Por favor, ¿nos puedes ayudar
Please,
a
could you help us
pegar una imagen
to
de-
put an image,
o una silueta del
a
cuerpo,
drawing of a body
al PPT?
in the PowerPoint?
Y vayamos respondiendo las preguntas.
And could we discuss
Ujú.
the question?
¿Cuál es el papel de la mujer indígena con
What is the
relación
role of the indigenous women
con relación al cuidado de su cuerpo y
in
el
relation to
territorio?
the care of their body and the territory?
Ujú. Entonces, esa respuesta
Okay,
lo tenemos
so
que
this
poner
answer we
en el
must,
cuerpo.
these answers we must place them within the body drawing that we will create
Sobre las experiencias vividas.
regarding your lived experiences.
Y yo les decía en el otro grupo,
And
por
as I was saying
ejemplo,
in the other group, for example,
que de pronto
that
las
suddenly
mujeres
that the women,
hablamos,
we speak,
decimos las cosas y
we
yo
say
creo
things.
que eso es parte del
I
cuidado
think this is part
del
of
cuerpo.
how we care for our bodies.
Ujú. Hablar, compartir.
Speaking, sharing.
En contraparte con el proceso de investigación,
And as another aspect of the research process,
a veces cuando no dices las cosas
sometimes when you don't say things
en los procesos de investigación
in
tradicional,
our traditional research processes,
parece que a
seems
veces
that
nos
sometimes
cohibimos o
we
no
feel
decimos las
shy
cosas
or we don't say things
porque nuestra participación o nuestro conocimiento puede ser
because our
desconocido
participation or our knowledge
o puede
might
ser
be disrespected
o
somehow
minimizado,
or made small.
ajá, porque pues es un proceso de investigación muy
This is
áspera.
a
Entonces,
research
también el dolor se
process
siente en el,
from another point of view. So there's a pain there
en el cuello, en el
in the neck, in the throat.
ajá, por ejemplo, si no dice las cosas y
For
también
example,
es
if we don't say things,
necesario, por ejemplo, poner eso.
it is necessary maybe to write this down.
Ujú. Entonces, por favor,
So please,
poniendo las imágenes, aquí
could
ya las
you
estoy
start
viendo.
making some images?
Oh,
I'm
no,
seeing
y eso-
something here.
Ok, entonces, por favor,
Okay, so please,
Grace, ya se volvió a ir Grace. Híjoles, es que es la
Grace left.
conexión.
I believe it's the connection.
¿Alguien tiene alguna duda?
Does anyone have any questions?
A ver, Grace se fue, necesitamos hacer el cuerpo. ¿Quién lo
Grace
hace?
left. We need to make this body. We need to do this exercise. Who can do it?
Natsomin, Natosim,
Natsomin,
Natosim.
Natosim.
¿Podrías hacer el dibujo del
Do
cuerpo?
you draw a body?
Yes, I'm trying.
Por favor, mil gracias. Bueno, entonces, Marta, Halima y quién sabe quién es monitor, pues hay que tratar de responder las preguntas, dialogando.
We should
Marta,
try to answer these questions as a dialogue.
por favor, nada más quiero
Martha?
saber si Marta me está escuchando.
Martha, are
No.
you hearing me?
Ella es, Marta,
Martha,
por favor, ¿me puedes decir si nos estás
please, could
escuchando?
you tell us if you're listening?
Ok. Ah, es que está en dos lados, Halima. Perdón, Halima.
So Halima, you're in two places.
Ah, está
Okay,
en
I'm
otro
sorry,
grupo.
Halima. You're in another group. Okay.
Ujú.
Yeah, I
siento.
confused. I can just stay here because the other ones have started already.
Ok, lo siento. Entonces estás en otro grupo también. Listo. Entonces tenemos aquí Homie,
Okay, great.
Natosim,
So we
Victoria.
have
Entonces, trabajen, por
Natosim,
favor.
Victoria. Please,
Voy a otro grupo,
please start your discussion. I'm going to go into the other group.
por favor.
Please. Oh.
¿Me puedes pasar al grupo?
Sisters, do you have any questions? We're gonna end so we can share in the bigger group. Teacher, I'm lost. I'm not sure what group I'm
Susana.
in. Susana.
Estaba en este grupo principal.
She was in this main group.
Es en este grupo.
She was in this group. You were in group 1. You were in group 1. We're gonna close so we can share in the bigger group. Thank you. Have you chosen your leader? Who's going to present for your group? Do we have someone for group 1?
Ya regresamos entonces
Sisters?
regresamos, maestra, la instrucción es que ya regresen a la sala principal.
So the instruction is for everybody to return to the main group, right?
Maestra Rufina. Que si la instrucción es que ya regresen a la sala
The
principal.
instruction is that everybody comes back. Are they done?
Ok.
So we
Perfecto.
can start sharing.
Gracias.
Megumi, will you be sharing the presentation?
Could you show the presentation? PPT? Just a moment, please. Could you share the PPT, PowerPoint?
Ajá, que si puedes presentar la presentación. Who, Megumi, Rosy or you?
I sent the chat. What?
Okay.
Megumi, could you present?
Me? It's okay, but could you share the PPT, PowerPoint? I send the chat.
Okay. ¿Quiere la presentación? Okay.
You have the presentation? Yes, I'll send you here.
Ya estamos aquí, maestra. Adelante para que pueda
We are
moderar
already here,
de
teacher,
nuevo.
so you can guide us. Perfect. They have told me that they're telling me that the Rosillos group is going to be the first group to present, to do the exposition. Yes, Rosillo? Just let me send the file to Megumi because I had an issue with my machine.
Okay, just a moment, please. Where is that? Where is that file? Could you see the chat? PPT? I send the group chat.
Creo que lo está mandando Rocío, así que ya. Rocío, ¿ya está? ¿El envío? No te escuchamos.
Rosillo, did you send? Give me a
¿Podemos
second.
iniciar entonces, maestra, con otro equipo en lo que resuelve?
Teacher, can we? Okay, we can start with a group that is ready, so that way we can take advantage of the time. Okay. So
Okay.
if there's a group that's ready, yeah, we can start with the group that's ready. So the Rosillo's group can take their time to get ready. So whoever is ready, yeah, we can start with that group. maybe Africa or a group. Communication, would you please help me out to projecting what Megumi has sent us?
It's a chat.
Oh yeah. Está.
Ah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
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 We draw pictures not only on the heart, head, and face, but all over the body. And we are deeply involved in the care of their own bodies and territories. Not only do they protect the health and well-being of their families and community, also play an important role in passing down traditional knowledge and culture to future generations. In addition, we play central role in the management and preservation of land and nature resource, contributing the maintenance of sustainable livelihood and environment. And we don't have the technical issue and not so much to discuss, but it's our group presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next group. Next group. Whoever it is. Thank you very much, Megumi.
Thank you.
Next group. Who is ready? Next group, sisters. See how interesting is what they are showing. The group from Megumi and Rocio. The work is focused, if you can see, on the head and in the heart, in the center of the body, like the heart. The head is the knowledges, the wisdom that we want to maintain, right? Preserve. So that's how I'm understanding, sisters. My understanding when I see this picture, it is really important. And the 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 orally passing on is really important for the preservation of our culture. Also the management of the natural resources is really important. You know, the sustainable environment. With this figure that she's showing us, she has placed what she has placed. She's explaining and she's giving me the understanding of the importance of the knowledge that's in the head. Somehow we receive that knowledge, right? Go ahead, Sister Rocio. Yes, mainly because, for example, in our peoples, they tell us what is related to the heart. If your heart is good, everything can be reflected in a positive way towards the others. Not only towards the rest of the people, but in what you do. If you do it with your heart, everything it reflects really positive. And the truth is, it's a way of how we feel since we get up, since and also, so if you get up feeling bad, or you don't understand what's going on surrounding us, that's what Sister Megumi was saying. Everything is related, not only us as peoples, but there's a universal relation with everything that exists. If we're good in our heart and in our mind, we can have the reflection of doing the things in a positive way. And more us as women, that we have a big challenge, because we have the mission of the education of our kids. Us, the women, we have this relation with the kids. We need to pass on this knowledge that we're getting, like right now, per se. Maybe we had this knowledge, but we didn't know how to pass on. So thank you, Rocio. Do you have another group already? If you are ready, yes, we can go on and share what you have worked. You can share with us what you have done. Next group. See how interesting is, sisters, how through a body, this is a tool, this is a methodological tool, we can show on a map the 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 for the word is a milestone. We can show the milestone through this figure. It could be happiness or sorrow. We have, but I would like to show through this exercise what have I done in my personal life. That in every work we do the work in a collective way. We are always thinking in collectivity, because that's the principle of life. What our elders, our parents gave us that idea, that knowledge, the collectivity, the family. But see, sometimes in that walking of life, we forget we we forget about who we are. We forget the pains that we feel. That sometimes we smile, but we have sometimes wounds. We have trends in our hearts. That sometimes we have deep sorrows, but because of the work we have, because we want to show that happiness, that smile to our kids, in order to prevent imbalance, to have that harmony with our family, we forget sometimes about that personal pain that we have. And it is really important to heal that part, my sisters. And that is what is going to give me the love that what I'm doing with. How do I cook my food in order to prevent my kids and my spouse, prevent them to getting sick? So I need to prepare this physical food that I prepare, because that food is the voice of the creator as well. The way we eat, the way we prepare the food, the way we feed ourselves from the word of the creator, because she nourishes us spiritually. Because whatever we have and whatever we eat, it has an origin. Everything that exists, it has an origin. So it is really important to take into account in order to heal ourselves and to show towards other. First, we have to heal us as ourselves as women. So that's really important to take into account. And you see, this kind of tools like the body map, you can use to see your personal life trends. You can show it on a map. I can show my territory, and identify what the important things that we have in our territory, and also identify the negative affections we get in our territory. So the map serves us as a tool, not only for social working, I mean, but also in understanding how my territory is. Not only see it as a qualitative way, but we also see is that in a quantitative way, like what the affection could do in my territory. I don't know if there's another group that is that's ready to share and to advance with the exercise.
Hello, teacher. Like, I couldn't share my group's work directly, so I added it in the chat. I don't know if they can help us and put it on the screen, might be for explanation.
Of course, yes.
Okay, so this is what we came up with the contributions from all the members. I'm going to start with the head. On the head, we see it's written lost. Indigenous women feel lost because they think about a lot every time. They're thinking about others. They're thinking about their children, of the family, of the community, how to make things better. Then on the right hand, we have neglect. They tend to neglect themselves because they have a lot to do. And on the other hand, we have tired. They are constantly working, be it in one way or the other, for their children, families, communities, and they barely have time for themselves. And at the level of the body, like we wrote, exhausted. All these things leads to exhaustion. And the legs, we wrote, walking without stopping, like we are continuously walking and looking for ways out. And at the heart, we have pride. With all this, we still feel proud because we are looking forward to making things better for our community, preserving this knowledge and protecting our way of life. Thank you, and that's what I got for our presentation.
Thank you very much, Habiba. That's beautiful. Habiba was sharing with us that Indigenous women sometimes we feel lost because maybe we don't know how to contribute with the community, right? I feel that even us, sometimes we don't value all the contribution that we do to the community, we give to the community. Sometimes because of that kind of practices imposed, we can't see our labor, the work we do as women. Yes, because we're always talking and thinking about our family, our kids. We're always aware of the rest of the people, right? And that's sometimes we focus on that, and that's what sometimes we feel like we're not doing anything, but in reality we're doing a lot, we're contributing a lot in there, and we have that resilience despite of different situations we have lived in our territories, in our culture. In our culture, we still keep on living, and we are marching forward, and we are libraries. We are alive libraries. We are practicing in our territories. And that's the challenge we have on how to continue showing this labor, this work that we do as women in our different spaces, from the different territories, from the culture, from our culture as leaders, as politicians, but each one of us, we are contributing to the communities, precisely showing what we're doing. This role, this fundamental role that we have as caretaker of life and the territory. I believe that with this, we are going to close. We're going to finish. I'll see if there's another presentation.
Excuse.
We can have an idea, right? Why it is important in the research to look from within, right? Why is it important to have into account? Next in the next session, we're going to do the methodology. In this session, we're just focusing on the research process, right? So very important. Today we learned I'm sorry, teacher, they're telling me that if Halima can present her work. So we're going to let Halima to show her work. Do you have your presentation, Halima, or you did it straight on the link?
I have my presentation. I want to share.
Gracias. Lo va a proyectar.
Thank you. We'll project it right away. It's really cool.
Can you see my screen?
Sí, gracias.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so I have a picture of a Samburu woman. So my explanation was, I have other explanation in mind. I'll say I couldn't type all of it. Beside her womb, my fertility, the woman says, reflect the abundance of the land that flourish when my body is wet. Her heart, her prayers for rain are heard by the ancestors, and it brings life to our cattle. At her feet, she prayed for health of the country, and every step she takes, my actions are guided by my familiarity with the area. Near their forehead, the wisdom passed through generation of women ensures our spiritual connection to Nkai. Nkai is God and the land remains. And then when it comes to the body care, they pass this knowledge down through generation, traditionally through herbal remedies, childbirth, and also medicine. When it comes to territory care, they identify resources like water, and they have a deep understanding of where the resources are available and how to manage them for the community's survival. That's the role of women. And for the body care, when it comes to provider, a mother is a giver. They ensure that the health of the children and the family is okay in their homes. The homes is called Manyata in Samburu. And then when I talk about the head where I was born, it's called Maralai, and it's the significant town of where the Samburu communities are coming from. So when it comes to emotion, my mind hold worries about drought and resources scarcity, especially in Maralal town. And when it comes to spirituality, I connect to the ancestral knowledge and the stories that is linked to the land of my town. And when it comes to the heart, there is deep love for the family, for the community, and the livestock that sustain us. Spirituality, we have respect for the Ngai, who is God, the territory. My heart feels the pulse of that land, the health of that pasture around my community. And when it comes to hand, my emotions in hand is the hard work that these women do and their dedication to daily tasks, that is collecting water, milking animals, building those houses. When it comes to feet, as I said, it represents the journey and the resilience. The women feel the ground connecting to the earth. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, talking about the role of the women in your community. The importance of fertility reflects the abundance of the land, makes a comparison between the land that flourished when the land was wet, for the prayers for the rain that belonged to the ancestors. The actions of women are guided by family and the community. Anybody else that might want to share? Thank you, Halima. If there's nobody else, let's go.
Thank you.
We had been talking. Yes? We had been giving feedback through the socialization regarding the presentation that each group made, those people that participated in this activity. We did that precisely, the feedback. Now we're going to go into the next presentation. Yes, teacher, could you please tell me? I could not go into the group. I did something on spirituality. Our region is being taken over by the church, and there's very few of us that we hold on to, that we can see our ancestral knowledge. The evangelical church is coming into our communities. It makes that many of the youth deny our original practices, our ancestral spirituality linked to the earth. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you. The importance of spirituality and how evangelization has been affected our territories. As you were saying, the youth are embarrassed, saying they're indigenous, that we have a great potential of knowledge that holds life, right? Yes, we're suffering through this with our youth. Now we're going to go into the next activity through going back into the theoretical theorization. The origins of intercultural. We're going to show the origins of the intercultural investigation, as well as the theoretical backup of the intercultural investigation, where we'll show examples and relevant information regarding a holistic point of view: spiritual, political, territorial, philosophical, cultural, and social. So first we're going to start at about the origins of what takes us into this type of research. First, we talk about our own research, right? The self research is how we structure, or we make, or we build and keep this ancestral knowledge. For this, I go from my experience, my sisters, to share with you for us, the self-research. We go from the cultural narrative. That's our starting point. The cultural narratives of life origin, the origin of life, cultural narrative about the origin of life. This work, what gives us is precisely to break this colonialist point of view from a critical point of view. When we talk about the cultural narratives, we leave aside these concepts of what's mythology, what is legend, what are stories. If I don't give it the importance of what they mean to me, or history, or stories of origins of life, I call them cultural narratives. Narrative, they are the essence of the creators, or the creator, or the many gods, for the care of the body, of the territory, and nature. And every territory, after the cultural narratives, here's the origins, there's territory. Each native community, the native peoples, we have like families. It's what we call clans. A clan is like the last name. We are a people, but within we have clans, or last names, we could say, to comprehend, right? And each people, the creator father gives them an order. Our territory is given in order. It is organized. How the rivers are to be managed, how the world, the water world in all of its dimension, the air world, the rain, the thunder, lightning, the earth world where we are, the woods, animals that are from the land, the birds, and the underworld, what we call it, for the underneath, where it is, the elements are kept of cultural importance, that for the white people is gold, oil, all the minerals. And this brings, there's the air world, the earth world, the water world, and the underworld. And this comes together in a spiritual connection, and as well a way of physical relations. To be able to manage this, we must place ourselves in our in cultural fundamental, and they have principles. These we are based on the shaping of the self. We don't educate, we shape people. And shaping comes from since conception, from the womb. I start educating, I shape, I guide. From there, the logics of how these thoughts are being built, this is me understanding. But if I don't know these narratives of the origin and the order that is in the shaping of the self, I lose these ruling principles of care and management of my body and the territory, and I can come into the other's logic. So it's very important to build our concepts from these cultural narratives, from our own, from us, right? So this took us, the intercultural research topic took us to see how important it is to take into account that it has to do with the historical struggles, the fights that Indigenous peoples to show and how to reivindicate our rights. We must be very clear my pride as a Indigenous person, my territory, my culture, and this historic struggle. We were able to tell the other that we have another way of thought, we have another point of view, and they're very important in this diverse and global world to have our thoughts, our ways of thoughts, our points of view included, that our diversity, our cultural diversity be included as well. So this is where the need to understand and recognize cultural diversity comes in. Diversity in languages, of thoughts, the way we relate with our territory, and this integral way. The intercultural research compares, explores different cultures, right? Different cultures to understand how these cultural factors influence the behaviors, the thoughts, and social practices of the people. So this is taking us from the point of view of the other. They have a fragmented point of view. Like all of you have expressed, you show us that there's a holistic point of view, an integrative point of view. If something fails, everything everything that's connected fails. Spiritually, the management of the territory connections, the connections, cultural connections, where we see ourselves beyond just the human world. We see ourselves as people, as beings, that we think in the well-being, in the search always well-being of our territories, and of our humanity. We are not seeking this only for ourselves, but how can we contribute to the whole of humanity? So for this, it's very important to be very clear in the research, the ethic principles that make sure that the research is equal, safe, and everybody that's participating in this research, right? So the origins of research as I said before, has the spirit of how am I going to understand the other, how we can understand each other, comprehend each other, and how we can how I can recognize and value the knowledge of that other. And we're also looking for inclusion. When I was saying when I was talking about the historic struggles, historic fights, usually it's been a vertical point of view. Now we need to have a point of view from a horizontal point of view, that our knowledge, someone was saying previously, for the world of the other, they're not valid because we don't have a scientific proof. From us, what we're saying is that our knowledge have the same level of incidence to scientific knowledge, because we do prove things. We're going along proving. We make tests, we transform. There's cultures that with years have been transformed. Things like venoms, like they use yucca in the Amazons. It has a very high percentage of cyanide, but they transform it and they make it into food through healing. It's processes that how it gets processed, so that it is processed in a way that it is able to consume it and nourish and hurt. The cyanide is take. So these are things that we've been done, and the origin looking at the origins of research takes us to see many examples, like you said, that our vision is always has to be looking at the collective, holistic, and what connects us politically in the territory, socially. We cannot not take care of in the indigenous, we cannot look at the indigenous world in a fragmented way. So, and particularly for indigenous women, to not go into an individual voice that I want to have my point of view, my voice, but how I can, from my point of view, from my thought,
what is
I
happening
can make
in my
visible what's
community.
happening in my community, how I can
How
transform
do
what
I
is
transform
happening
what
in
is
my
happening in my
community.
community?
But also, I
But
am
I am
also
also
a main
starring
character. I
of
don't know
this
if you
process. I don't know
understand,
if
I'm expressing
you can
myself.
understand me. My action is going to be from collective. I'm going to show from the feeling and thinking of each woman we have in our territory, right? In order to have that fabric, in order to have that collective walking. So let's move on to the next activity. Please, next slide. In this space, we're going to watch an interview we had with a leader colleague in Colombia, that she has been using these tools somehow, right? The own intercultural research, and we did some question. So sister, we invite you to listen and to watch this interview. Let's pay attention to this video, to the questions that she answered, and in what ways has indigenous or community-based research contributed to intercultural dialogue? What fundamental elements should be included in the development of research using intercultural methodologies? What are the purposes of intercultural research? What qualities should an intercultural research have? So we're going to listen to her, and we're going to get a feedback once we hear the video, and then we'll go to the next activity. So communication, please, if you can project. I belong to the Witoto people. I'm currently working with, in the political school, Akim. So I'm here as to provide and share a little bit the experience we have with the people in an international national level. In the own investigation, the topic of own investigation, according to my own, is really important, because it's one of the principles of the indigenous movement, that we start from what is ours, from what is right, and not from imposed. When we talk about our own, we start with research. As an indigenous people, we are collective. In the collectivity, because we manage our languages, we manage the topic of territory, we talk about worldview, spirituality. So this contributes in our knowledge, in our own topics, that somehow we start from the participative action, like the research topic, but we focus it with a methodology that is called intercultural methodology, so we can have the dialogue in the knowledge dialogue, because we start from a system in Colombia. In the case of Colombia, we have a system constitution that goes from general as citizens, but we also have particularity as indigenous people. With the ethnical group, we have the indigenous group. So that's where we as indigenous women, we start from respecting our worldview, our origin, the rights to the elders, and all this topic that we know about this indigenous people, and this transformed this country. And it's really important to start from all the methodologies, all the topic of research. Yes, we are indigenous people. We have diverse. I have 115 peoples, indigenous people. But this intercultural research is something to understand among us all, not just as indigenous people, but also to the national level. And what we're building currently in our government, they are conducting policies. So we are talking, and we're having that to provide as indigenous people. We as indigenous people, we have to provide to the government. There are different elements: political, social, and cultural, and also demographic, and also the communication topic. It is really important, the methodological tools we use. We need to start from our own methodologies. When I say our own, I mean that from our own territory. In our own territory, we have tools that can allow us to use and to use as people, as country. We have to see the social environment, the political topics, and it is really important that the communication topic, because how I'm going to communicate with the other. When I talk about interculturality, we're talking about communication, and we need to do an instrument, a communication instrument, so we can understand each other. Yes, what's our problem? Maybe some people think that I have the right, and I want to impose my thoughts to the other, and the other wants to impose. So the dialogue is really important here. We need to go to a reaching point as indigenous people, and we have to acknowledge the knowledge that others have, but they have to acknowledge us. So I understand what they have, and they understand what we have, and that way we can have a complementary knowledge. And another tool could be according to the reality. It has each community now is that in this case, for example, as indigenous women, because of the same situation we have lived, this historical situation we have lived, we as indigenous women, sometimes we don't respect the self-structure of the governance that has the community. That we have to have a complementary, and we have to do something that's called action without harming. We have to build tools that we can do actions without harming. How we can contribute to the indigenous woman, this structure of governance. We can have that fabric of collectivity. There are communities that they don't let women to participate in every aspect of their life. So we need to carry out these communication tools, our own tools, observation, how to talk, a traditional dance. So we can use this kind of tools so the others could understand, and also change our way of thinking about our culture. There are macho cultures. We need to transform that reality. And what I understand about intercultural research is that you need to have participatory action, collectivity. Collectivity is a reality. So we're talking about intercultural research. It's not only within us, but there are diversity in us. We need, so the indigenous people from different places, the Andean, the different places, they have different point of view. So we have to look this interculturality and try to bring together. In the case of Colombia, there are principles that binds us, like unites us, which is unity, culture, territory, and autonomy. Those are the general principles in our people. Independently of our diversity of knowledge, worldview, spirituality. Those are the main four principles that us as indigenous people, we need to start from in order to have a conversation, in this case, with the state, with the government, or the Colombian people, so they can understand our education, the topic of our health, the plan of our life, the plan of our development, our territory topics. Those principles are really important in the case of Colombia. The legal principles, those are general principles to interact with the rest of the people, in this case, with the majority of the society. We need to talk with the African, with the Ron people, because we have our, in every territory, we take care to preserve. So how can we have that conversation? Because in the territory we live, the eviction topic, we have so many issues in the indigenous community. The topic of coca in here in Colombia. So we have different issues. So this is the struggles that we have. We need to create these spaces of dialogue, and we need to do this intercultural research to share our knowledge with others. To finish, I'd like to share the experience we, let's say, as promotion school we had last year. We worked with youth youth women and with leader women and also with wise women. So it was important for us as women. Always we were thinking in the community, in the family, in what is collectivity, because we're the basis of the foundation of the language, the culture. We're part of the territory. We're part of this territory, and we saw that is really important. The topic of emotion as women. There are many women. They are sustaining, but they don't have participation in political spaces. We need to talk about food topics, about the own economy. Now we have to talk about fabric of life, the topic about diversity of knowledge. So it is really interesting to us. We need to think about ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, how can we contribute to the others? We believe that women were carrying out many pain in our soul, in our heart. In this kind of spaces, this topic and this kind of formation, it helps us a lot to come out from this condition that a lot of women have lived, and maybe they have lived the pain of war and that kind of thing. So we need to heal not only from outside, but also from within in the community. So the experience that we're carrying out right now, we're starting from our own knowledge, from our government has done some work, but health, mental health, spiritual health, and also, and we are healer in the topic of food. We need to think a little bit about ourselves, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes to think about ourselves, and that will help us. In this topic of well-being, and that way we provide to our community, contribute to the community and to the world, because somehow the women are the foundation of the education of the kids, let's say, until they become grown up, or sometimes even until they die. So women have a huge responsibility. The duty is sometimes the double, triple. And so this is a cultural thing that we have a lot of responsibility. So we see the woman, they have to see a lot of things, the food, to take care of the kids, the education. So women have a lot of responsibility. My name is Irma Roman. I belong to the Witoto. Okay, so with this activity, can you hear me? Yes? If you please could project the next slide. Here, we're going to collect or gather what we have worked from the beginning, the work group, the individual answers, in what we just saw right now, the video, the experience the partner or the colleague had in her personal experience. So we're going to gather that as well. We're going to highlight the importance of complementary between Western research and intercultural research. and it will be emphasized, and why is it important, this kind of investigation. So we're going to take into account that the research and then the intercultural methodologies, if we could see, taking into account what we have done, it characterized in the approach of the cultural approach. We're looking for equality in rights, right, and the mutual respect, right? We are also looking for comprehension in the interactions that we have, despite your different culture, as our colleague was saying. There are some topics, some points. There are some coming together points, and also the importance of the methodology that takes us to the dialogue and the intercultural learnings.
Taking into account that research has certain characteristics, starting with recognizing diversity, equality and respect, dialogue and participation, we're also in a cultural context. The cultural context is where we develop our research. We adapt methods and techniques to the particularity of each group, right? We are looking for the participation and comprehension. To generate empathy. Not impose, but to generate empathy of both types of knowledge. It is also focused in the practice. And the experiences of the people. And the cultural practices and how we are relating to each other. With society, with ourselves, and our relation with my territory and with nature. Right? So as a summary, we could say that research and intercultural research tries to promote dialogue, mutual respect, and adapt the methods of research to the cultural contexts to obtain more relevant knowledge and significant that brings us into transformation, right? So in this order, the self-knowledge and the intercultural knowledge, these these tools, it is crucial to have a wider comprehension, and so we can integrate different points of view. The research should always look to benefit the people that live in the place. We must be located. We must always look to benefit and enrich these knowledges, these methodologies, taking into account that the world is very complex, but always looking to find common grounds. And we're always improving the work that we're doing. So the research, there's a complement between the Western perspectives. It is essential for a wider, for a more detailed comprehension, more real and effective. Why? Because there's different points of view to benefit enriching the knowledge, the methods, innovation, collaboration, and seeking solutions, the most effective solutions for the complex problems we have, or to make visible and to show and make incidents in what we want to strengthen from our territories. That's what we're looking for. So for this, we must understand that the main the ethics are absolutely very key. Why are they key? Why must we have this? The ethic principles in intercultural research, it's going to guarantee respect, dignity, integrity in the communities and the people that are involved, right? So for this, there are some very clear, very basic principles, respect to dignity. The research must respect cultural diversity and the values of the communities to avoid imposing rules or other cultures. Always respect. Also having consent, informing the community what is going to be done, why it's going to be done, what are the objectives, what are the methods that we're going to use. Always looking for the benefit of the community and not only personal benefit. As well, we must take into account confidentially and privacy. We have to be very careful because many researchers are taking intellectual property. They're stealing intellectual property. So we must be very clear, and it must be very clear that the work that's being done for the research must be responsible, and that it must not be shared without the full knowledge and consent of the community. So this is what I could say until now. Let's go into the next slide. Okay. In the platform modal, we have there's an article so that you can go in there and you can go deeper into the ethics and research from the point of view of the indigenous thought and answer in the forum these questions that we have here. So it's 1, 2, 3 questions you must answer there. After you see the article, it's research ethic from the indigenous perspective, collective rights. And so the questions are, what are the ethical principles that you can identify in your community? So this is open until Thursday. I will be going in there and looking at the answers that each one of you will be sharing there. And I'm going to invite you to, so that with every question, every answer, you can also comment in the other colleagues' comments. So this is going to be very enriching, not only put in our own individual answers, but looking into the other answers of the other colleagues and dialogue with her, write a comment in what she has answered previously. So as I said, I'm going to be here for any questions you have. This is open until Thursday. I think someone raising her hand, right? Yes, I'm sorry. Is it has to do with your previous comment with the permissions to do research. For example, we're going to do interviews, maybe to be able to use the knowledge of our elders. Do we have a specific format or what should we, how should we do it? I'm sorry, I can't really hear you, Rocio. It comes and goes. I couldn't understand very well what you said. Okay, I was saying that in regards what you were saying in your previously about the permissions that must one have to use a certain knowledge or maybe a talk we're going to have with an elder from our community. These permits, do we have a specific format that we should be using, or should we see this with our tutors? Well, next time, Rocio, we're going to give some methodology guidelines, right? So in these methodologies, we're going to talk precisely about tools that we have, as well as tools that come from the outside, including formats. Okay, thank you. So, as I was saying, this is the invitation I want to share with you to, because what we did today, it is very important to take into account ethics in our research. Ethics in research was mostly in the past for the medical world, for the pharmaceuticals. But this has made us take into account that the ethics be there for every kind of research, cultural, judicial. It has to be part of it, because it is what is going to give us tools of that make sure there's respect, knowledge. So here in this reading, you're going to go much deeper into it. And then, so as I said, please answer in the forum, in the modal. It's open until Thursday. Any question you have, I will be paying a lot of attention to be able to support you in everything I can, so I can collaborate and facilitate that we can finish this diploma course in a very prosperous and harmonic way, harmonious way for everybody. Yes, and so that we can, and as I said as well, please do dialogue with the other comments there, so you can go into the forums, put your answer, and look into the other colleagues' answers and write there as well. So let's go into the next slide. Okay, perfect. So my sisters, right now we're going to after we finished every session, there's an evaluation that I think now they're gonna send it to you, so you can respond. For each session, the evaluation. So that would be all for today. I am here ready for any comments or recommendations, and of course the idea is to improve every time a little more the facilitator's role that I have here in this diploma course, and all observations and recommendations are welcome, and to be able to improve and contribute in a better way for the benefit of transmitting tools for your research projects. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Teacher Rufina. The evaluation, we have the first one, the first link pending. We'd like you to please respond. And then next week, you're going to have another link. This session, we don't have it. The book is there. The book is available in English as well. Yes, please go into the forum. It is there, both in Spanish and English. Okay, so closing, we have 4 minutes for the session. That's such an interesting session we had with Teacher Rufina. I'd like to invite you. We have a deadline for your research protocols. This protocol is very, very, very important because this is the first part to do the rest of the research project. So it is very necessary to say here that you remember that when we put the call out, we had considered a fund to be able to do a quality research on the ground. You remember this? Nonetheless, it is also conditional to the quality of the protocol and the times. And so please look at this, review it, coordinate very well with your tutors, and integrate the perspectives that we're looking into. So the 30th is the deadline because of the administrative procedures. We must have these protocols because we also have to look at them internally. Besides giving it to your tutors, we also do another review where we're going to see the quality of the protocol. It's not just handing in whatever. It's really to put yourself in the place of a researcher. Seriously, we're being trained, and it's a critical and alternative training that you must take into account what you see here. So this is the invitation so that you can put it into the research project, and please coordinate with your tutors. So let's see, Samai is here. Would you like to say something, Samai? Are you there? She was also in another meeting, but if she's here, maybe she can share something with us. Samai, are you available? It looks like maybe she's busy in something else. Okay, so that's the invitation. Please, really, it's not just about handing it in. It's to really elaborate, review the text, put into it the knowledge that we've seen here. That's a really solid proposal. It's going to be reviewed, and depending on that, seeing if the funds are going to be liberated. So FIMI is going to be taking into account if this is a doable on the ground research that can be done. So please, sisters, colleagues, Africa, Asia, and Latin America, please take this into account. Okay, Maestra Rufina. So that was what I wanted to say, but we can close now. Liliana, teacher, excuse me, regarding this, you, in the previous session, I tried to go back in, but it says it's not available. So maybe something happened to the link. Okay, so let me check it because others have been able to go in, but yeah, and they've been able to respond. So let me just look into it. Okay, thank you. Okay, great. Okay. Yes, please go ahead, teacher. Well, thank you to each one of you for your active participation, for a spirit to share, to put your word into this space and get to know each other. This also makes this work much more interesting, the session, because the participation in these spaces are very interesting to be able to, for us to understand, comprehend the importance that we're giving to precisely this activity that we're doing. So with my heart, with a beautiful spirit, to walk with the word, to please participate. If there's any questions, if there's things to improve, please, sisters, in order for all of us to have a beautiful experience in these sessions, in this work we're doing, please, I'm very much available to receive these recommendations. And to each one of you, sisters, thank you very much. May the creator and the creator of life walk with you in every path you take. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Have a
teacher.
beautiful day. We're seeing each other again on Friday.